Weather Impact Team.
Once again, temperatures climbed into the lower 90s this afternoon across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. These numbers seasonal for this time of year. Good evening and a very happy Wednesday. Hope you had a nice Wednesday across the Tennessee Valley. I was out and about walking my dog late this morning, early this afternoon. Don't worry, my dog likes to primarily walk in the grass anyway. He's a puppy who does everything except stay on the sidewalk like he's supposed to, so it was totally fine. Anywho, I digress. I was out walking the dog this morning and I ran into another neighbor who was out taking their little children for a walk in the stroller, and she pointed out to me that it didn't feel as gross today as it did over the last couple of days. And I had been kind of thinking that in my head this morning as well, but I didn't know if maybe I was being delusional. Maybe I'm just used to the North Alabama heat. I know a lot of you are used to it. We were talking about that on my Facebook over the last couple of days, where this is just kind of run-of-the-mill normal. But when somebody else confirmed that today felt a little better than the last couple of days, I don't know, it made me feel like my assumption was somewhat accurate. We saw 92 this afternoon at the Huntsville International Airport. We saw 90 in Scottsboro. We saw 91 today in Albertville. We saw 91, 92. For Pulaski and Fayetteville, up across southern and middle Tennessee. A little bit warmer over in northwest Alabama, but that's to be expected. Florence saw a high temperature of 95 degrees, and then we saw 89 this afternoon over in Fort Payne. Yeah, Fort Payne, our friends over there in northeast Alabama, they didn't even make it out of the upper 80s. But how does this compare with the rest of the month? Rather on brand, I must say. There has been a level of consistency so far this month. Now, typically we have been above average in the month of July, but we have had a couple of days where we were just simply average. They're not orange, they're not blue, they're just gray. July 1st, we had 91 degrees. We saw 91 on July 3rd. We saw 92 on July 10th, which by July 10th, 92 became average. The average high temperature jumped from 91 to 92. We saw 92 this past Friday, and then we were actually below average a couple of days. We were below average both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we saw a high temperature of 87 degrees. Look at that. The Huntsville International Airport saw 87. Now, we did get a fair amount of rain on Saturday, if you remember that. I was taking my wife to the airport early on Saturday morning, and I ran into a good bit of rain on the drive home. And then through the course of Saturday afternoon, we had some scattered showers and thunderstorms develop across the Tennessee Valley. We saw 90 on Sunday, and then we saw temperatures in the mid-90s Monday and Tuesday of this week. And then today, obviously, the Huntsville International Airport saw right around 92 degrees. 91 feels like 99 right now in Huntsville. 90 feels like 97 in Scottsboro. 90 feels like 99 in Fayetteville. 94 feels like 100 right now over in Florence. And then over in Fort Payne, 88 feels like 94. They're really winning this evening. It is the best over in northeast Alabama, just like it's been the best all day. But again, we were talking about this on my Facebook over the last couple of days. When you're talking about this type of heat and humidity, this is pretty run-of-the-mill, pretty standard for late July and August. But we are going to begin to see temperatures climb, especially as we head into the early and middle part of next week. We're kind of going to stray away from the standard heat and kind of begin to move into the extreme heat category. I'll show you that when we get to the 7-day. If you're going to be spending some time outside this evening, really not going to be that bad. 87 at 7, 84 by 8, 82 degrees by the time we get to 9 o'clock. Is it going to be just a touch on the humid end of the spectrum? Yes. But otherwise, are we going to be dry? Are we going to be warm? Also, yes. Heat indices over the next couple of days. Let's talk about that. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're going to be a little bit lower, just at or just below heat advisory criteria. Probably going to take that Saturday number and bump it down a couple of degrees. But then by the time we get to Sunday and Monday, heat indices going to begin to climb. Like I said, now we're beginning to climb out of the standard level of heat for late July, early August, and kind of beginning to move into the extreme heat category Sunday, Monday, and then that's going to continue Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. Radar looks nice and quiet this evening. Kind of already went over that, and it looks like we're probably going to stay quiet through the rest of the evening, and then even as we head into the overnight. There are other opportunities for rain in the forecast. Small chance of rain on Thursday. Odds are better than not. We're probably going to be dry. Isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms stay in the forecast Friday, Saturday, and then through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. Now, bear in mind that it's not going to be a complete wash during any of these days. I mean, look, rain chances are relatively low as is, but understand that a little bit of rain is in the forecast. We'll maintain the opportunity for a little bit of rain even as we head into next Wednesday. Here's what I got for you as we head into the overnight. And I continue to think that the overnight temperatures are really the big problem across the Tennessee Valley. We've been discussing, we've already said it like 3 or 4 times in the last couple of minutes, that this heat is pretty standard for this time of year. But what's not standard is how warm we stay at night. We're only going to drop into the mid-70s across the Tennessee Valley. Now, I do think a little bit of patchy dense fog is liable to develop, and we've also seen that over the last couple of mornings. But otherwise, we stay warm tonight. We're also going to stay humid, and I think that's a problem because we just simply don't get any relief at night. You would hope for a little bit of relief, and that's just not something that we're seeing through the overnight. If you want to go to the pool tomorrow afternoon, you can certainly do that. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-90s once again. Plenty of sunshine. Small opportunity for rain in the forecast, so take note of that small opportunity for a little bit of rain. Then as we head into your Friday, much the same, temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. A couple of folks might see the upper 80s, but I think the upper 80s are going to be somewhat difficult to come by. Really, the key message over the next couple of days is the fact that temperatures are going to be a little bit lower, especially across northeast Alabama. Look at that. By the time we get to Friday, Fort Payne climbing into the mid and upper 80s. And if anybody's going to see the mid and upper 80s, I think it would in fact be our friends over in northeast Alabama. As we head into the weekend, I've got 92 on Saturday, 93 on Sunday. Isolated showers, a couple of isolated thunderstorms are going to be possible this weekend. But overall, the weekend actually looks like it's going to be quite nice. A typical summer weekend across the Tennessee Valley. Make sure to stay hydrated if you are going to be out and about this weekend. Now, Rock the Dock returns to City Harbor at Lake Gunnersville this Saturday. It's a great event if you want to go. It's a free event. My wife and I went last year. There was somebody that she really wanted to see last year. Are we going to go this year? Totally have not decided yet. Now, there is a chance of rain in the forecast, but don't let that deter you from going. Again, it's a typical summertime weather pattern where the vast majority of us are probably going to be dry. It is going to be warm. Now, this is an evening event, but based on my decision to go last year, I highly recommend going earlier in the afternoon, mostly to get a good parking spot. It also allows you to get a little bit of dinner, but the parking spot, I think, is key. They do offer some sort of shuttle service, but we went earlier in the afternoon, had some dinner, a couple of beverages at the restaurants. But the key here is that we got a good parking spot. And that was really ideal because it was warm for the event last year as well. 85 at 6 on Saturday, 83 at 7, 81 by 8, 79 degrees. By the time we get to 9 o'clock. Let's talk about the dew points over the next several days. Through the weekend, dew points are going to be in the 70 to 75 degree range, but then I think as we head into the weekend, especially as we head into Sunday and then through the early part of next week, we could begin to see dew points climb into the oppressive category, where we're talking about dew points greater than 75 degrees. I already showed you this, but you get to see it again. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s as we head into your Friday. If we look at the long-term forecast, now we're looking into the early days of August. There's about a 50 to 60% chance that we're going to be talking about above average temperatures. Now, above average would be classified as any day where the temperature was even 1 degree above the average high. So if the average high is 92 degrees, but the observed high temperature was 93, then that day would be an above average day. Make sure to stay connected with me on social media. I'd really appreciate it. You can find my Facebook there, Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. I post a little bit on X/Twitter. More of my personal life ends up getting posted over on Instagram. Have a good look at the next 7 days. There's your 94 on Thursday. I've got a pair of 92s as we head into Friday and Saturday, 93 on Sunday. We've kind of already taken a look at the weekend. I think the bigger story is going to end up being next week. Again, as we head into next week, the heat's going to stop being standard for this time of year, and we're finally going to begin to shove ourselves kind of into that extreme category, extreme heat. I always try and use the term extreme heat lightly just because